Hey guys, welcome back to another AQ World Infinity video. We are going to be covering the third week of the Infinity Daily Update. This is going to be part one of a two-part video. Third time is the charm. Follow our third weekly daily update for the AQ Worlds Infinity wish list on Steam. This is our complete rebuild of AQ Worlds, which will allow you to log in and play on your existing characters, but on your phone, tablets, or computers via Steam at 60 FPS. And you can see here's a screenshot of in the game of the quest for the Bloodrut Keep. That's just going to be one of the things that we're going to be doing on the next tech demo. Can't wait for that. So this is Monday's report. Now the reason why I'm doing this in two parts is because the Monday and Tuesday design note is rather long, and I thought if I do it at the end of the week might be a bit too long for the video, so I figured doing it in two parts. I'll do one today and then I'll do one on Friday. One of the best things about these daily design posts is if you have been keeping up with reading them, then you already know exactly what we're working on and what the priorities are. Each Monday we're meeting with a full AQ Worlds Infinity team. Here's a summary. Combat and classes. Spider and Immortal Joe are working on some weird things that they discovered last week and building tools for Joe to use in finishing the 4 base classes. Bloodrut Keep. Reen's Ghost and J6 did a good job on the maps. Now we're fumbling through quest issues. Warlock joined us to debug and help make the quest process smoother. Dialogue cutscenes. Tunic made progress over the weekend on the cinematic system. He's going to be getting the editor to skip around the Unity event frames when you hit forward and back. Then he has a big task of moving the NPCs from the canvas layer to the normal layer so that the particle systems will scale normally. Multiple monsters and NPCs spawning on a single pad. Now, some of the stuff that they're talking about here might go a little bit over our heads, but it's still nice to know that, they're letting us know what all the developers are working on. Up until now, AQ Worlds has mostly been limited to a single monster spawning on a pad. Yomi has made it possible to have multiple NPCs on a pad and also have requirements to determine when they are supposed to appear. Yomi created an in-game interface for devs to set this requirement, which will help a lot. Once working, we'll be able to have NPCs who can move and change depending on where you are in the story. That is interesting. I know that they had said something about AQ3D. This might have something to do with it, maybe. This is a little post. It says, this image has nothing to do with today's post, but I love it because that is really cool. I do love that. Oh, that's where the AQ3D thing was. I knew it was mentioned. Helmets and hairs. Last week's hairs did not build properly because we have helms, hairs, and head takeovers and multi-party hairs. This structure of the hair needs updating. Warlock is working on this after the quest issues. Cloud Builder, as posted last week. Oh yeah, the AQ3D and AQ2D Cloud Builder farm ran into an issue. It's a pretty fancy name for here's a room in the lab with tons of laptops that stay on 24/7 converting files to Mac, PC, iOS, Android, etc. formats whenever the team uploads them. It's a pretty cool system. Warlock built it for our first cross-platform MMO, AQ3D. Whenever I show it to people, which has happened rarely, the response is always a look of insert how to feel after looking at a tiny dark room stacked with spooky looking glowing laptops that are doing stuff way more important than tiny laptops should be doing. Anyway, Warlock will go back to the Cloud Builder stuff with Quest and Helms, after Quest and Helms. Music to my ears. Jungar said he's working on 4 entirely new tracks for Bloodrut Keep. That would be 1 for each floor if he does. But that's a lot of songs. 2 songs would have been fantastic. I worked on quest issues with Reens and Warlock for more of this afternoon. There's pretty big structural difference between the way AQ3D works and the way AQ2D works. Some good, some, well, we need to add it. For example, you can't have a single quest where you talk to a multiple NPC in AQ Worlds Infinity yet. Also, the person who you turn the quest in cannot magically transform into someone else after the quest has been turned in. Example, in AQ3D, the Masquerade, you can talk to an NPC and take their mask off to reveal what sort of monster they are. So we're adding some new quest objectives that will allow us to do things like that. One of the weirdest challenges now is that we have an auto-turning quest in Infinity is making sure we hand off quests to other NPCs in a smooth way. AQ Worlds was written around a very simple quest flow. Changing it to be a little more natural will speed up quests, but is also introducing some strange complications. For the Tuesday report, good things come in twos. Oh, that is clever. Started the day bug testing the warrior and mage class. Found a few things. Highest priority fix is a skill bug which causes monsters not to die. They become a 0 hit point zombie which lurches to the 0 coordinate of the map. There they just lurk, never going away, never letting you escape from combat. Second up is the mana regen issue. This might be an easy one to solve. Might. As seen in the warrior below, once you use skills it consumes the mana, but instead of ticking up, it randomly flickers back to 100%. Also below, we still need to add the text effects to the aura pop-ups. Example, the armor shred and empowered strike. We also ran into a quest issue where defeating a single monster gave you every single quest objective. Perhaps that is a feature. Upper cutscenes. A good chunk of my morning was in a meeting with Warlick and Zoom over new quest objective types for cutscenes. This is an opportunity to improve something that became problematic for devs in AQ3D. Please let me explain. Imagine that a quest wants you to watch a cutscene. No problem. Just mark the quest as done and show the cutscene, right? Wait, no. What if you crashed and never got to see the cutscene? That is a big problem, because when you get back to the game, the quest is already marked complete. So you would never get to see the cutscene. No worries, easy fix. We move the quest complete to the end of the cutscene. But what if the cutscene starts from a pad that you walk on, or by talking to an NPC, or a machine in the map that is activated when the boss dies, and so on? Also, what if we want you to search a map to save 10 different NPCs in distress, and each has a little funny cutscene on them? Okay. Still not super hard. Quests can have multiple objectives, so we make watching each cutscene a quest objective. Also, we add the ID. Every cutscene has a unique ID into the objective. Then, to be super fancy, when you click on an NPC, it sends a message to the server, and if you happen to have a quest with an objective that requires talking to an NPC, and there is a dialogue, then play it. Whew, there. Not so. Oh geez, but what if you have a bunch of different quests from the same NPC and it just so happens that 3 of them are ready to turn in and all 3 of them have dialogues that are ready to play? Oh man. So it's just really ramping up to complications. So we tossed around some ideas and came up with what seems to be a solid and bulletproof solution. When we were implementing this sort of thing in AQ3D, we used a very manual solution. We gave the devs a lot of freedom in how they showed cutscenes and marked them as complete. However, it was really confusing and resulted in a lot of new devs accidentally making the logic backwards. Also, because cutscenes are entered manually, there is no way to tell when they actually happen when looking at AQ3D's database. This is something I wanted to improve forever. This is finally a chance to do it. Warlick had a galaxy brain idea of moving the cutscene, NPC, and other extra data info right into the quest objective. This means the quest objective will now determine when things happen, not the maps or the NPCs. From our programmer's point of view, it is backwards from how the flow worked before, but this is way better and more consistent. Also, this is an MMORPG, so the server needs to validate all of these things that are happening. For example, the server will not let you turn in a quest unless you are in the place you are supposed to turn it in. So now we just need to implement it into the game, server, and database, because in an MMO, every change takes place in these 3 different places. When complete, it'll make adding cutscenes way better in the quest flow. Okay, that was a little long-winded and techy. If you like reading these sorts of things, please do let me know. Most people seem to prefer posts about game art and animation. It's a rare individual who appreciates knowing how much thought goes into playing a simple cutscene. Now see, I do like this kind of information, and I'll explain why briefly. Because this is the type of stuff that they have to deal with that we don't know about. And I've spoken with the devs of the AQ3D team. It is insane the amount of work that is involved in just creating a single NPC or a single item. It isn't what we think. Just add it to the database and away you go. Like, there are so many steps to take in making one item or in making one NPC. It is ridiculous. So I like hearing this sort of stuff because it really shows people can just think, oh, it's easy to make content, but it's way more complicated than that. Coming Wednesday, and this time we can finally talk about NES stuff, right? I'm going to post my best game winning ROM for you. Interesting. So coming up in my next AQ World Infinity video, I'll be covering Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think of the progress that they're making in AQ World Infinity in the comments below. See you guys in the next one.